Hey, what's up guys? It's Texamer talking to you here, and today I want to talk about the iMac Pro. Yes, because I do think there's an hidden secret on the studio display design, and something that a lot of YouTubers have been not talking about, and I think that it's pretty important because by analyzing the studio display design, we can take a lot from what I'm expecting to be the next iMac Pro. So yes, you might be thinking, oh, the iMac Pro is dead, oh, the iMac Pro won't be coming out, the 24-inch M1 iMac will be the next and only iMac for the future. And I could see where's your point coming from, but I do think it's wrong. Although Apple has announced that the M1 Ultra chip would be the last chip coming out from the M1 family, and the Mac Pro would be the last computer hanging in terms of the transition, I do think Apple is not referring as the way they will kill the iMac Pro. I do think they have not decided if they have to kill the iMac Pro or they won't kill the iMac Pro. They will see how the Mac Studio sales are and how the Studio Display sales are, and then they will make a decision. But if you do think the iMac Pro is completely dead, let me know in the comments down below. And of course, while you're there, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for your support. But no further ado, and before I roll the intro, let me pose this question. Do you think the iMac Pro is dead because of Apple said, or do you think the iMac Pro is dead because you don't really need it anymore? If you ask me, do I need the iMac Pro? No, I don't need the iMac Pro. But do I see some people that do still need and do still benefit from an iMac Pro? Surely. And so that's why I think Apple won't kill the iMac Pro or even the bigger sized iMac. So no further ado, we will talk about this later on the video. So roll the intro. As you know, the iMac Pro is quite an interesting product. The iMac Pro came out firstly in 2017 to kind of fill this gap where the prosumer market was underserved. They didn't have a Mac Pro since 2013, and that one that they had was pretty faulty and pretty bad, so Apple had to release something for the pros. Meanwhile, while they were developing a new cheese grater Mac Pro that would be coming out in 2019. Yes, 2019, 1 year before the Apple Silicon transition. So the 2017 iMac Pro would be an insanely new approach to the old design of the iMac. Yes, it would be on space gray color, but it would have an improved screen in terms of color and something. It would be a 5K screen, which would be the same amount of screen as the 5K iMac, but it would have an amazing speaker system. It would have incredible microphones, the best webcam ever on an iMac, and of course the extra performance that would come out and extra cooling system on this iMac Pro. This was just insane that the iMac Pro came out, and it was the perfect machine for pros at the time. But when the cheese grater Mac Pro came out, a lot of pros changed to that, and the iMac Pro kind of died from that. And so I have to ask myself, does it make sense for Apple to release another Mac Pro in 2022 or even 2023, which I do think it will be coming out 2023? Well, in my opinion, yes. Just because the iMac Pro still feels like a very great product that still feels in a great spot on the market, because there's a lot of pros that don't need an external display, do not like to have external displays, keyboards and mouses. They want the best price per performance possible, and by buying an iMac Pro they can get all of that in one simple package, because they buy the Studio Display, they bought the Mac Studio, they bought the Touch ID Magic Keyboard, they bought the Magic Mouse, and they are thinking, I could have got this in one single package and I would be fine. So that's the market that the Mac Pro serves and the iMac Pro serves, and that's why I do think Apple will make one. I do think that even the Studio Display or the Mac Studio, they are very cool to build on a studio, to be modular like Apple says, modular in Apple's way, so you can interchange between them, get a new display, get a new Mac Studio, get a new brain, get a new keyboard, get a new mouse. But let's not forget the word that Apple used. This is modular. So if they use this word, that means that Apple is probably thinking making a not modular computer. And what that be the iMac Pro, because the iMac Pro is not modular everything. You cannot interchange the display, you cannot interchange the processor or even the brains when it gets old. You cannot, I mean, you can, but it comes out with a keyboard and a mouse. Why would you use otherwise? So yes, this iMac Pro, in my opinion, will be coming out. But now that we are established the fact that I do think that the iMac Pro coming out and why it's important to come out, let's talk about the Studio's display hidden secrets, shall we? Because I do think that we already saw the iMac Pro that we will see on the future. If you really notice, the Studio Display has completely overkill hardware, has Queen from Snazzy Labs talked about in this video, the Studio Display has so much overkill in terms of power supplies and power management. I do think that the old power of the Studio Display comes to 164 or 164 watts, and the system is built for 250 watts. And that's just crazy, that's just weird. So, and there's a lot of even overkill power supplies and overkill stuff. It's too thick for its needs and it's kind of weird. So if you look at it from an angle of, oh, this is just a display, well, it seems like Apple is just putting overkill components there. But in my opinion, Apple does not put overkill components just because. I do think Apple has already laid out the ground to build the iMac Pro around this design. Yes, I do think that the Studio Display's design will be the iMac Pro's design on the future. No chin, no white bezel stuff like the 24-inch iMac with the M1. Just pure no bezel stuff. Yes, I would be so happy if Apple launched this iMac Pro with the Studio Display's design. Imagine, this display has already has the A13, 64GB of RAM, has an amazing mic system, amazing speaker system, amazing webcam. So the only thing that Apple would need to do is put an amazing cooling system there and the M1 Pro and M1 Max chip, and everyone would be happy. So yes, I'm very excited for this computer to come out in the future, and that's why I do think Apple really needs to make this iMac Pro happen, because it's a very important product in Apple's history, and I do think that still it has an enormous market to fill in the prosumer market, in my opinion. People that don't really need the Mac Pro, but they want an iMac because the all-in-one is such a fabulous design. I have an iMac at home, and I can tell you that I do love this design of just plug and play design. Yes, the all-in-one is dying, but I do think the all-in-one, it's still an amazing thing to have. And so the Studio Display's design from Sleazy Labs video, it's quite indicative that we will see an iMac Pro using this Studio Display's inspired or even recycling the Studio Display's design. Yes, I do think that will happen, and I could almost put a bet on it. I think in the future we will see an iMac Pro with this design. But do you think it? Do you think that Apple has already laid the ground with the Studio Display for the iMac Pro's design, or even 27-inch regular iMac with even the M2 chip? I don't know, but I do think that Apple is already laying the ground with the Studio Display. That, or the second possibility is that Apple has already laid the ground for the 27-inch mini LED panel that Ross Young is talking about to come out, this WWDC. Maybe this overkill hardware is just the hardware of the 27-inch mini LED. So the extra power supply is just for the mini LED screen with 120 Hz. We don't know. But that's some conspiracy theories that I cannot answer right now. Let's wait for WWDC for more concrete answers. And also, I do think that in WWDC we will get the Mac Pro and we will see the new most powerful chip from Apple. Of course, in my opinion, after this transition is done, we will see even more new computers that will flourish from this lineup. In my opinion, the MacBook 15-inch or the MacBook Air 15-inch and this iMac Pro. So yes, I do think that Apple is innovating their Mac lineup. Now they've almost transitioned their old lineup for Apple Silicon. The Mac Pro is almost an exception right now. I do think that Apple will try to integrate and create new categories on their lineup and of course refresh or revive older ones. But what are your thoughts on this matter? Do you think that Apple will launch an iMac Pro in 2023 or even 2024? Do you agree with Min Chi Kuo, Mark Gurman, or even other leakers that are saying that it's dead? Or do you think it's just on the limb of death, that Apple is still deciding between killing it and just keep the Mac Studio or creating the iMac Studio or the iMac Pro, whatever? Call it whatever you want. Do you think Apple will create the iMac Studio, iMac Pro, or will just keep the Studio Display with the Mac Studio? Let me know in the comments down below. And while you're there, don't forget to leave a like and of course subscribe to my channel, because I know if you are a Mac Pro fan and you are waiting for the Mac Pro, then you don't really care about this video. So please just leave a like and subscribe and you can go away, because you don't really need the iMac Pro, don't you? You just need the most powerful and upgradable Mac ever, the Mac Pro. But that's it for you guys. This is my video on the iMac Pro. Let me know in the comments down below what are your thoughts on this matter. This was Tex Mo talking to you here. Bye.